You're not going to the garage. You're not going to the garage. You're not going to the garage. You're not going to the garage, okay?
You're not leaving. You're not leaving. Stop.
On November 13th, 2024, officers in DuPage County, Illinois, responded to a hit-and-run call. A witness had seen a woman crash her vehicle and run. When officers made contact, she was on foot and already uncooperative. Under Terry v. Ohio, decided by the Supreme Court in 1968, officers may briefly detain someone based on reasonable suspicion. Specific, articulable facts, not a hunch. Here, those facts were already in place before the first word was spoken. But what the officers didn't yet know was that this same woman had a second open incident waiting in the background, and it was about to surface.
Hello. Are you okay? Apparently you were, according to the witness, you were in a crash. Is that what happened?
Are you serious?
Wherever the car ended up, they saw you running away from it, okay? Are you okay? We just want to make sure now you're not hurt. Are you hurt or no?
I'm fine.
Okay, so that's your Jeep right there?
My Jeep is in the...
But do you own or drive a silver Jeep?
It's inside.
So
That's not my Jeep.
it's not your Jeep?
No.
So were you driving then? What
No.
kind of car you were driving?
No.
What's your first name?
That way.
What is your first name? I think we had a call before, remember? There was
Not anonymous.
No, here.
Yeah.
Serious?
Yes. So that's your Jeep down the street, correct? We just want to make sure. Yeah, there's this scratches right there. Gotta make sure you're.
Leave me alone.
Okay. How old are you?
Did you have any passenger with you?
You're not going to the garage. You're not going to the garage. You're not going to the garage. You're not going to the garage, okay?
You're not leaving. You're not leaving. Stop.
No, she's getting.
Relax. Not be hitting anyone. Stand up. Stand up.
I got all over it.
Relax.
Okay. Alright, hey, just listen to me, okay?
No. Call y'all, bro.
Alright.
No.
Can you tell me what happened? Just something popping out of her. Something popping out of her pants. They're gonna find out what that is.
You're a bitch, and so is everyone else. Fuck all y'all. Dead ass. Fuck everybody. What freaking time is it, bro?
Let's see. Give me some water. About midnight. They didn't give you any water?
No, they gave me some big ass cup.
Well, you're a lot nicer than the guy who got arrested by last time.
Uh-oh. Who got you last time? Remember their name?
No, but he was a dick.
Uh-oh. Okay.
Yeah.
That's not good. Yeah, no, I'm going to try to make this
actually. He was there
Oh, was he?
when he got called, and he was like, are you serious?
Just stand right here for a second. I'm just going to throw your paperwork right in the car.
Imagine if I ran. I would not. But imagine.
You make me work for my money today.
For real.
All right.
I'm not a fast runner.
And then I know you didn't have anything with you, but I just got to pat you down before I put you in the back of the car, okay? Just going to use the back of my hand here. Just looking, you know, got any, like, you didn't steal any needles or anything from in there or anything crazy? No scalpels? Okay. All right, you're good. In the store for you. Yeah, just take a seat behind that blue seatbelt there. And then I'll get that on you. Get you going. Okay.
Spend the night in jail?
So since it is a domestic battery, you will have to go to DuPage at some point tonight.
Are you kidding?
No. Probably not. Yeah. Alright, now I'm going to read your rights real quick. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say may be used against you in a court of law. You have the right to speak to an attorney and have an attorney present during questioning. If you cannot afford an attorney, one will be provided for you at no cost. Do you understand all that? Do you wish to give a statement? Okay, so then you don't want to sign this then? Because saying, I understand the above rights and agree to speak with you.
Oh, well, I understand them.
Okay. I mean, you could sign it, and then you just don't have to answer questions. That's up however you want to do it.
Okay.
Or I can write refused.
No, I'll just sign it.
Okay. So just read over lines 1 through 4. Initial if you understand, and then a signature on the X, please.
How many days did you take out? 8.
Anklet, necklace, earrings. Check. Oh, her string. Do you want the string to your jacket? No. Okay.
I'm just gonna throw this whole outfit away.
You're gonna throw it away?
This whole outfit, yeah.
Why?
Bad luck.
Bad luck?
Understandable. So just to confirm, you don't want to answer.
Shoes.
You don't want to give a statement or answer any questions.
Well, I'll answer questions.
Okay. I mean, really, again, I wasn't there, so it's just going to be running through what you, you know, what happened, what you saw, or did, or whatever.
Well, not that. I pushed him, so he called you guys, and then said that. He told the cops that I grabbed and then obviously I was very not compliant because, like, how the hell did this just get flipped on me?
Right.
Like, so, yeah, I guess I was, like, a little bit freaked out, so I didn't, yeah.
Okay. What did you say?
I don't even remember, to be honest.
Okay.
But
Were you drinking?
yeah.
All right. So you never used the shower rod as a weapon to hit him?
No.
Okay.
I did not.
And then
My face.
Left side of the face.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Did you? I don't see anything. I don't remember if they did or not. I can check.
I don't think so.
Okay. I'll take some photos just so we have them for the report. All right. I think that's pretty much it. Okay. All right. Do you have anything else to add or say?
No.
Okay. Very good. We'll get you moving here.
Let's examine the constitutional framework. The subject denied owning the crashed vehicle. That denial didn't matter, and here's why. Under Illinois versus Gates, the Supreme Court's 1983 totality of circumstances standard probable cause is assembled from the full picture. A witness identification, a crash scene, the subject found nearby on foot, and her own behavior. No single piece has to close the case. They all do it together. The officer's approach was methodical. He didn't chase an admission. He let the evidence build. Under Wen versus United States from 1996, subjective intent plays no role once objective probable cause exists. The legal foundation here was solid before the handcuffs came out. And then she tried to walk away, which was about to become a charge of its own. When the subject moved toward the garage and physically resisted, the applicable standard is Graham versus Connor, 490 United States 386, decided in 1989. Force is judged from the perspective of a reasonable officer at the moment of the decision, not in hindsight. The Graham factors here all cut the same direction. The suspected offenses were criminal, the subject was actively fleeing a lawful stop, and officers had no indication of weapons. They responded with verbal commands first repeated multiple times before applying soft, empty hand control. That sequence matters. It reflects a use of force continuum that courts consistently uphold. Exhaust verbal options, then escalate proportionately. No taser, no chemical spray, no hard hand techniques. The force was textbook, but the Miranda clock had now started, and that's where the real legal exposure would come. Before placing the subject in the patrol vehicle, the officer conducted a pat-down and verbally announced it in advance. Under Chimmel versus California from 1969, a search incident to a lawful arrest is constitutionally authorized. The officer used the back of his hand and limited the frisk to safety-relevant items. That transparency isn't just good practice, it creates an on-camera record that the search was bounded in scope. At 5 minutes and 42 seconds into the footage, Miranda warnings were delivered. This is the single most consequential legal moment in the encounter. Miranda versus Arizona, 384 United States 436 from 1966, does not require advisement at the moment of arrest. It requires advisement before custodial interrogation. The officer got the timing right, but what the subject did after hearing those rights would determine whether the charges against her would hold. The officer went further than the Constitution requires. He presented a written waiver form alongside the verbal advisement, a procedural step that significantly strengthens admissibility in any subsequent suppression hearing. He also told the subject clearly that signing the form did not obligate her to answer questions. Under Berghuis versus Thompkins, 560 United States, 370 from 2010, a Miranda waiver must be voluntary, knowing, and intelligent. The subject signed the form and agreed to speak. What followed was a post-Miranda interrogation that was non-coercive, open-ended, and methodically conducted. The subject admitted she had been drinking. She denied using a shower rod as a weapon, while confirming a physical altercation had occurred. She acknowledged she was, in her own words, not compliant. Under Salinas versus Texas from 2013, voluntary post-waiver statements are presumptively admissible. Defense counsel will likely challenge whether her intoxication level invalidated the waiver, but courts have consistently held that intoxication alone does not meet that bar absent evidence of extreme impairment. 5 charges were filed. DUI under 625 Illinois compiled statutes 5/11-501, resisting a peace officer under 720 Illinois compiled statutes 5/31-1, criminal damage to property, hit and run, and domestic battery from a separate prior incident under 720 Illinois compiled statutes 5/12-3.2. The court disposition remains unknown at time of analysis. The responding officer earns a B+. The arrest was constitutionally grounded at every critical point: reasonable suspicion at contact, probable cause at arrest, proportionate force during resistance, and a correctly timed Miranda advisement before interrogation. The written waiver form went beyond minimum constitutional requirements and strengthens the prosecution's position considerably. Most notable was the de-escalation arc. From active physical resistance to a cooperative post, Miranda interview within roughly 3 minutes. That transition reflects genuine skill, not accident. The grade falls short of an A because early investigative opportunities, specifically using the prior call history as an articulable probable cause anchor on camera, were handled informally rather than with precision. The subject earns a C+. Her initial denials were within constitutional limits. Citizens have no general obligation to answer police questions. But the decision to sign the Miranda waiver and speak without an attorney present was the most consequential error of the night. The partial admissions that followed confirmed physical contact with the battery victim, admitted alcohol consumption, and acknowledged non-compliance corroborated multiple counts the prosecution would otherwise have had to build from witness testimony alone. The intoxication defense to the waiver is the strongest argument available, but it faces a high bar. What brought the grade down wasn't the situation, it was the choice to voluntarily hand the prosecution its own evidence. 3 lessons apply here. The first involves Miranda timing. Officers often Mirandize at the point of handcuffing out of habit, but the Constitution only requires it before custodial interrogation begins. Getting that distinction right, as this officer did, separates a defensible arrest from one that falls apart at the suppression hearing. The second involves waivers. Signing a Miranda waiver is a significant legal act. The subject's belief that she could sign and still stay in control of the conversation was a misreading of how interrogations actually unfold. Partial admissions rarely stay partial by the time a prosecutor reviews transcript. The third involves resistance. Illinois Statute 720 Illinois. Compiled Statutes 5/31-1 does not require violence to be charged. Pulling away from a lawful detention, ignoring movement commands, attempting to leave an investigative stop, each can satisfy the knowingly resisting element. The threshold is lower than most people assume, and the footage here met it clearly. Let us know if there is an interaction or legal topic that you would like us to discuss in the comments below. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to check out our second channel, Audit the Court, for even more police interaction and courtroom content.